Or he's cooking. I'm hoping he's cooking, which he might be.
Mr. Chavez.
Hey, sorry for calling you. I don't know if you're busy or not. I just wanted to...
Oh, I'm having a very interesting discussion about our last discussion on top of it, my friend.
We've known each other for a minute, right?
Well, define a minute there, Mr. Chavez. There's a period of time in my
10
life
years?
that I recall you going AWOL.
15 years.
It is quite a long time. I don't know. Were you back when Mr. Holiday was around?
Yeah, Coop, of course.
Yeah.
I broke Sonia Summers out of prison and ended her life. Then brought her back to life and some other things.
All righty. Well, you know, it's good to know. Thank you for telling me you ended someone's life. Anyway.
It's been 2 economy collapses. I'm a changed man.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Well, here's part of this little conundrum that I'm working with right now.
Okay.
So technically, as you say here, and I'm having this conversation, FOIA doesn't exist.
Correct.
You and I had that conversation.
Yes.
It doesn't. But you were trying to technically FOIA documents.
Correct.
But it doesn't exist.
Well, right. The Freedom of Information Act doesn't exist because I'm just gonna shoot straight. The head of BA was absolutely fucking useless and wrote a dog shit document, probably either half drunk or in an attempt to see if anyone would challenge it. If you look at it, which I have FOIA'd it, the things aren't even properly fucking FOIA is all lowercase. There's improper. There's grammatical errors, etc., etc. It's like the guy woke up half drunk, wrote a couple sentences, and sent it out. Unfortunately, it's not legislation. However, one could derive that FOIA or something equivalent is a necessity, and is something that I would push through court through the number of incidents in which a FOIA was not able to be received. So there's a vehicle by which I could bring this to court and try to push that legislative change, or alternatively, you know, this kind of conversation spawns something. So that's my gloves off kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. So here's a part for this, and I do agree with you. Now you can say that, and when I'll give you a little bit of example here, and I'm not sure if I gave you this example or not. Apologies, I've spoken with enough people, so if I'm repeating myself, just tell me.
No worries.
So when we first started this whole rebuilding of where we're at, right, and the citizenship of, I guess at this point, Los Santos, the city, not the damn state, because that's the other semantics on top of that. Things such as, for example, Brady violations don't exist. Did I speak to you on this one?
Yep, we discussed that.
Right.
But
until
what if
the
someone were to bring it up?
is there, and that's
Correct.
exactly correct. Until those things are brought up there. So, by technicality right now, things that we deemed basic in nature previously or were accustomed to a long time ago aren't exactly here. And those things that by nature we would imagine should be there are not. Such as right now, technically FOIA. Does it? Has it? There's nothing. There's no act that's formally passed. You have something in the damn DOJ documents that says something about 5 days an incident has passed, you can't technically FOIA a warrant. But it's not actually legislation.
Correct.
It is 2610. Do you have your MDT with you right now?
Yep.
All right, go 2610 right now.
Is that a report?
Yes.
I can't look that up.
You cannot look at 2610 in the actual report.
Fucking Crane drunkenly removed some of my access and has to fix it still.
So you don't have anything DOJ documents?
No, it's all up here in my head.
Yeah. Hold on. Give me a sec. I'll shoot this over to you in email. Just give me a minute.
Yep. Oh yeah, I FOIA'd this already. Yep. You see what I mean? Look at this. Look at this shit right here. The Molten. The guy puts his name on it, and FOIA's not even capitalized. The fuck? Wait, what is? Wait, hold on a second. Wait, is this an updated copy, or am I tripping? No,
It was
no,
4 months ago, my friend.
Yeah, this is the one that's busted. Look at FOIA. There's no colon after requirements below. What the fuck is this?
Yes, well, that's semantics. I understand.
It's not semantics. With all due respect.
No, it's more the capitalization. Hold on.
Yeah.
I mean the capitalization part. I'm not talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I know semantics, my friend. Believe me, I can argue that all day. I'm talking about the actual pronunciation, whatever.
Yeah, sure,
the capitalization,
sure.
Punctuation.
I'm going to go even further and say that I just transparently borderline am thinking about trying to. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Some of this shit annoys the fuck out of me.
Say it. Go ahead.
I think Murphy should be fucking impeached for not pointing this shit out. How the fuck is anyone a lawyer for like more than 2 weeks and not find these problems and say that, you know, the head of bar should be passing legislative change? The fact that none of this shit is happening makes me think every fucking person that's got a bar license, some have an excuse because they might be new and they're not getting trained. But where the fuck are the senior lawyers who are finding these things and pushing for it? And if they're not doing it, then they're fucking lazy and they're goddamn useless.
You want my take on this, Mr. Chavez?
Yeah.
These things exist in isolation. If you didn't know these things existed, because frankly, they're on the reports, not damn legislation. Frankly, none of these things are active.
Yeah, but inherently, a lawyer. You know, it's my first FOIA that I uncovered all this. So in my mind, I don't understand. The way that it went is, I looked for Fiona's FOIA. They can't find the report. So I file an incident. This dispatcher tells me they get to have 5 days to give me a report that is being produced right in front of her, which didn't make any sense. So I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I open up my fucking MDT. I look at this and I'm like, boom, it's not in law. That's a problem. And if fundamentally a lawyer goes through just that simple step, they already realize that there's a fucking issue and they should be bringing it up the chain. Because if we can't get our FOIAs, we can't do our job. And if we can't do our job, what the fuck is the point of a bar license?
Here's a great question on top of it. I sent you another one over there.
Oh, wait, what the fuck is this?
That's the actual, that's the SOP side of technically what should be done, but it's not, because once again, this is just like a baseless document at this point.
Oh my God. Yeah, because the SOPs ain't law.
Correct. This is not law. It doesn't have anything that's established as such. This is what the guidelines are for the PD side. From their side, just look at that just for a second. From their side, it has to be 4 days. From the DOJ announcement side says 5 days. You see that?
How has nobody brought this problem up? Like, genuinely.
Well, so, frankly, I don't deal with FOIAs. You understand that, right?
No.
This is the first damn time I actually look at FOIA and the actual process with it. I don't have anything to do with these things.
No. I get that, but has this topic been brought up to the DOJ? And by the way, I don't hold the DOJ in any way accountable for anything for this stuff, because you have to ultimately, you're just upholding what's there, and it's up to, you know, Department of Justice, the police department, fucking government to be like, you know, there's some new shit that we need, right?
Correct.
So if it hasn't hit y'all's desk, that means no one's done it.
Well, frankly, this is the first time I've actually looked at it. And keep in mind, there's probably some background conversations that are happening at this time where I'm absolutely reaching out. Now, keep these in mind is that these things, while they're there, you know, I'm very much into, as you would say, semantics of things, and by all technicality, as it exists, every FOIA that has been completed at this point in time is technically illegal, in my mind.
Illegal by the police department, you mean?
It doesn't exist. There's no process. Now, I'm not saying illegal like it's chargeable or anything
Yeah,
like this.
right.
I'm saying the
it's not
process
something that
is
they even
invalid.
need to do. Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Correct. Every damn FOIA or every request at this time, my friend, is that PD doesn't have to do anything because it's not
Yep.
passed. There's no law with this. If you
Yep.
say that you want to have a FOIA request sent in, guess what? They don't have to do shit right now.
Brother, this is the conclusion I came to 3 days ago, and I lost my mind nearly.
Well, you're not wrong with this. They have under no obligation to actually pass something to you all and information right now. And even which is such, first off, you asked Mr. Suarez's warrant information. By the SOPs, what they have there is 4 or 5 days, and both of them require, or at this point, don't require rather, that this person has a warrant, because warrants are technically ongoing investigations or whatever the hell it is. It has to be afterwards.
I'm
Look
going
at
to
that.
respectfully disagree.
That's fine. Let's look at that. Go ahead. I want to hear it.
So, the fact a warrant is a conclusion of an investigation inherently due to the fact that it is at the point of writing something that can be brought into question for a bench review. Secondly, has a name and charges associated with it. So therefore, by definition, the investigation has concluded. And therefore there is no inherent extended privilege that the police department should need to keep that information close to their chest. In other words, it's not an active investigation. The second bit, though, is while I do agree that there is nothing explicitly formalizing a FOIA, therefore, due to the lack of explicit requirement for the police department to produce documentation akin to a FOIA, while it doesn't exist and they can lean on that, I think constitutionally they would be required to. And that, however, I understand that would be something that would either need to be pushed through legislation or alternatively brought up in a court case as an argument.
Correct. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that this is required in terms of documentation.
But it also means that, let's say, hypothetically, the police department were to lean on what they may foresee as a loophole, they would be grossly playing with fire because they haven't met me yet. And I would ensure that if they were to play said games, not only would I prove it, I would then lean on that, that abuse of power, and I would sue the shit out of them for each person affected. So it's not in their best interest to play those games if that's what they want to do.
Well, son, there's nothing actually been set in nature for as what has the requirements been, so keep that in mind. Now, you can look at these documents. You can say here's the guidelines for how they should be doing this, but as it's technically, it says that, once again, this is not by law. This is just what they're instructed to do at this point, right? The incident for, depending which document you're looking at, 4 or 5 days, doesn't matter because, frankly, they're both off and they're both incorrect, is that 4 or 5 days. And you, by their definition, and what they're training everybody as, cannot actually give information out about active warrants.
Yeah, I mean, the question that would come up, right? And I did hear that argument from a dispatcher that they're pretty much saying like, hey, we get 5 days regardless. But once again, it comes down to that argument in court, which is, are they justified in the 5? Is someone, is due process properly being followed? If they, like, I feel like I could argue that if they do not produce that document by end of day, they're actually in violation of the Constitution.
And which part of the Constitution then, my friend?
Well, we can drive into this. Hold on.
Yes, I would like to see where you're pointing at there.
Yep, absolutely. Give me 1 sec. Do. You don't need a federal constitution. Oh, shit. No. I'm sorry. Keep in mind, this is, I had derived all this 3 days ago. The conclusion I ran into was the same as yours. It's not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start filing, fucking appeals for everything until they do fix it. That was my backup plan.
Well, that's why I had to ask you on that one,
Yeah.
because I didn't see where you're coming at with that one, because there isn't. There isn't a way that you
I
can
was
point
hoping
that
to
out right now.
lean on the right to a speedy trial, but that doesn't actually exist.
Correct. None of those things do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're left with a city council that decides all of our actual process. Well, not process, but at this time seems like legal rights and things that we're entitled to.
Yeah.
They don't have a damn legal mind. That's what the supposed head of bar is supposed to be doing.
So,
Chief Justice.
So I'm glad we're having this conversation, because this is one that I've been searching for a judge for a minute. There's a couple routes we can take. And part of that route was getting in touch with Murphy, but his fucking phone's blowing up. I don't know what the fuck he's been doing. I'm, as you can tell, I'm a little annoyed by him, Moulton, etc. But my question now becomes: do we go through? How the fuck do we fix this shit without going through how do we fix this? Do we go through all these proper channels, or alternatively, do we just get some common sense shit put in place? And I'm sort of leaning towards the latter, because this is so fucking egregious. And my parlay to all this is, I don't think the police department wants the entire docket. We kind of touched on this, actually. Last thing I want is them to get, well, I don't really give a fuck, is them to get docket dumped, so to speak.
Well, son, here's the part of this. Go in the Constitution, Article number 1 there. All right, read to me what that says.
The bodies, yes. So, City Council and the Justices of Los Santos, so therefore you have the ability to do so.
Yes, but read after that. I don't exactly have the explicit ability unless it's brought up.
Are the gateway of implementation.
Keep going there. Read the entire Article number 1.
2 bodies possess initial legislative authority in Los Santos. The City Council and the Justices of Los Santos are the gateway of the implementation. Okay. The City Council manifests the legislative authority by a democratic voting process on submitted legislation by any member. Which, by the way, I have a problem with that to begin with. Not the City Council side, but rather the vagueness of this, because to me, you could read this as they only pass potential bills and then the city votes on it, but that's another matter altogether. The justices exercise their legislative authority through the mechanism of jurisprudence. Precedents set by justices will act as common law. Okay. So it comes back to square one. So what I'm hearing is that we got to take it through those processes, because your hands are tied, unlike
correct. As much as I would love to say here that I can go ahead and write something right now, pass it, be done with, unfortunately, I can't do anything as it's written, because as the Constitution writes, it has to go through the entire legal system. And from their side, unless someone doesn't propose it, it's not going to be made, which, once again, if it's not brought up, either way, or if it's not seen, nobody's going to know anything about it. And so we can have something as important as, I don't even know, something that is basic in nature 5 years from now.
Okay.
But unless someone actually brings it up, I can't do shit about it. Unless it's a trial, I can't do shit about it either.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we've been on the same page from the very start. Here's where I am with it. It really comes down to, hey, police, are you going to give me these documents or else? Legal threat. And that's kind of the approach I'm taking. Both work for me because both are very enjoyable. One, they start working with us, the people, and their lawyers, like myself. Or alternatively, not that we not only get this pressed, but also those who are currently affected by it may end up filing civil lawsuits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Ruby. I'm going to call Barrick. If the current officers don't want to produce it out of their goodwill and understanding that it's going to hurt them in the long run, I think that's the approach I'm going to take, to be honest.
I mean, it sounds like you're trying to strong arm someone at this point, Mr. Nino. When technically they don't have or don't need technically by any means to produce something unless, once again, it is actually required by them. At this point, it's not. And so what you're saying is you're trying to strong arm them for something they don't even have to do.
I disagree.
Well, you disagree in the fact because it's not passed.
No,
I disagree
no,
because formally it is not in writing that this is one of their requirements they have to do.
I think that's kind of where we're sort of at an impasse.
Alrighty.
I see it more like you call it strong arm. I call it fighting for someone's rights. And
I don't disagree with that. We'd go through the right damn channel for it instead of trying to go back forth.
I mean, or both, which is my plan.
Here's my friend. Here's what you can do with this, right?
Yeah.
You can have one trial that's set as technically common law, or you can actually bring it up, whatever the hell head of ball is going to do with it, or you can continue to have these conversations, and they will be difficult in nature, or just set the record straight once and have one overarching thing and it's done, and you don't have to bitch and complain about it. I'm not saying that you are right now, but just saying in the future, if it does happen, where these things have to be a continual fight.
Oh,
because
no.
reality is, if you establish it once, it's done.
So here's, and this is see, Bailey, this is why you're the judge, right? You're the mediator. I'm a fucking prick, right? I'm going to go through the common law. But at the same time, if these motherfuckers don't want to, play ball when push comes to shove, well, someone's got to make them pay, right? So this is why you're the judge and I'm the lawyer.
By the legality side of it, they technically don't have to, so they're in their rights to say no.
Absolutely, and I have the right to, file civil lawsuits and mass appeals on behalf of my clients, of course.
You can, but then you have to base it upon something. If that basis isn't there, then you're baseless.
Oh no! You'll see. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, you'll see what I mean.
Fair enough.
I'm talking about the following. Just to entertain the conversation. There's a number of FOIAs not being produced for clients. They're taking a lot of time to produce them. Well, how do you fast track it? Well, every one of my clients, which I'm, solely gathering, each time they get arrested, I file an appeal. Now they got to produce it. They got less than 5 days. Now they're going to be sitting in Mission Row, fucking writing their reports, figuring this shit out, and then figuring out how the fuck they're going to schedule 50 goddamn court cases. Well, I stay awake every living moment of my time. Now, that was kind of the warning I was, giving you in advance, that any such action would not be an action against the DOJ, rather a protest against a police department that would rather tase, beat down, and throw someone in cuffs, and then skip over the actual work, which is getting their fucking reports done in time.
Well, I understand what you're going with there. I mean, technicality, yes. In order to FOIA, formally, is essentially, as you said, is to put an appeal. That is, technically, roundabout circumventing the entire, well, I don't want to say circumventing, but it is requiring.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's my version of fuck around and find out. I know the police like to use that term.
Listen, I get that.
Bailey, I think this is a good conversation. I'd love to have more of it. I definitely want to pick your brain more because, look, I'm still wading through all this shit and making sense of it, right? In my own mind, what is legal, what isn't legal. And I'd love to pick your brain on it. You seem like a good one for that. Not to sway your opinion one way or another, but I need someone you keep me in check. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people can.
Well, Mr. Nino, as much as you say that, and I understand, keep in mind, I was very excited at this point in time when the city reestablished itself to actually contribute towards the process as to what it is in the government that is around us. It was established that all those powers went to the city council, and I got jack shit to do with that.
Well, I mean, even that can be changed.
Well, by technicality, yes,
Yeah.
all those things can. But I enjoy having a healthy conversation about how things should or should not change because, frankly, that's how it should be.
I agree.
I
And
don't mind having debates.
I love debate. The only way you make progress. One last thing.
Yes.
So this kind of circles back to how. So we're talking general FOIA is 30 days. Now let's talk about warrants. According to the Constitution, bench trials shall begin at the discretion of a ready and able judicial member. If the bench trial stems from a warrant, the defendant may request a bench review of the warrant, which we've done in the case of Suarez, right? This is not a full trial, including questioning, but simply a judicial review of the veracity of the warrant. The judge will either dismiss the charges due to lack of probable cause stated in the warrant, or the defendant will be sent to jail and will be able to appeal the charges at a later date when the issuing officer is available. Now, there's a lot of missing nuance to this, right? It doesn't say whether. But the way I read this is I've requested a bench review of the warrant, right? Now, in this case, things are a little easier, right? Clients around, your judges around, et cetera, et cetera. However, fundamentally, the way that I would read this is that reasonably, in order for this review to happen, I would need to be able to access the report. And so while a FOIA is not something that is in legislation, I would argue that it is implicit for warrants in the writing and the verbiage in the Constitution.
All righty. That's completely up. I understand that, yes. So what's the stemming part to that you're asking? Because that's one part of it. It affects the other.
I'm sorry, what? Say that again?
So what you're saying is that the FOIA needs to be there because by all technicality, the bench review process requires it, correct?
Let's not call it FOIA. Let's say that based on my reading of this bench trial and this bench warrant, that it is implicit that the police department produce for the lawyer a report, because without that, you cannot even inherently know whether or not to bench review something. So I would say implicit in the Constitution is a requirement for all reports associated to a warrant to be produced to the client and the lawyer.
So what you're saying is at any point in time that afterwards that your client, just call it Suarez at this point, any time that a warrant is issued on his behalf, that he should have a copy of it before or at the time it goes live.
The lawyer should, yes.
Only if you request it at that point.
If requested, yep.
In order to
begin the bench warrant review process.
Right, which at the process, well, as it's written right now.
Yeah.
Once again, the trial is not including fully question, but simply a judicial review of the veracity of the warrant. Now, when you ask me incident versus report, now that's a separate conversation, but I had a very in-depth conversation with Slacks and question the basis of how they actually do reports. Because here's how I look at this, right? An incident is one separate thing. It's one event that happens that could lead to a report.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
Report is an overarching document that has or houses multiple incidents and could be a summary of multiple incidences, which is the charges brought forth on someone. It says report number 1 includes incident number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Report number 1 has all the damn charges on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as it stands.
Correct.
Not all.
Yep.
Correct. Now, you were bringing it because you're saying that one was filed as an incident and one was filed as a report.
That's actually what I want to bring up. It was because I couldn't see it myself. The individual that was producing the FOIA originally did not. Oh my God. Okay. Apparently, those that produce these FOIAs were not shown that they're so used to producing reports, they only knew of the button at the very top. They
Not the
did
one to the right of the actual name there?
Yes. So I explained the
Uh-huh.
whole, well, you know, there could be multiple suspects, each with different set of charges. So if a FOIA were to be produced, you know, pretending that exists or whatever, that it would be produced for each and every suspect, given that each and every suspect has a different set of charges.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where that confusion came from. So it
Uh-huh.
looks like it was filed in the right format. The confusion was over where the export button was, effectively, and that's where everything went sideways.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I also had the same question for a bit until those things were clarified, but that ever brings up the question of actual incidents versus also reports on top of it. Which one's technically an incident, which one's an actual report. And believe me, if that for example, if it crosses my desk, is it an incident? Is it a report? Is one an investigative incident? Is it something that's formal? Which one's formal? Which one's not? Believe me, I've had that damn conversation already, and it's spinning my damn head and others as well.
The way that it was handled in the past, is that anything that was documented within the police department could be FOIA'd. And that if it was something that needed to be tucked away, in other words, an active investigation, it would need to be explicitly tagged as such. And when tagged, it would need a expiry date. And that would then need to be refreshed. Now, this was true for an extended period of time until things got a little like wavery or whatnot, but that's how I recall it being handled in the past. Now, keep in mind that this is also under the guise of, you know, the full scope of FOIAs used to exist, where, you know, I can request anything as long as my client was a victim or a suspect.
Well, let's think about this for just a second. Now, go back into that second screen capture I sent you there. Under the what this means, and I'll explain to you why this becomes, well, that semantic discussion.
Oh, they wrote report in there, is what you mean?
Reports must be 100% finished in the guideline of the SOPs, which is a max of 72 hours.
Yeah.
And then, as the guidelines, incident must have occurred. So there's two separate sections, as you're aware: incidents versus reports. How do you go from one? One's an incident report. Now, what the hell is a report? Is it a report? What the hell is that?
Yeah, it seems like...
Which...
I mean, Bailey, this is I mean, look, whether it's the Molten one or whether it's this SOP one, it's just lazy people that are taking their time writing things. I hate to be so brash about it, but there's no other real explanation.
Yes, but you understand, I have to deal with this now.
No, of course. I mean, I got to deal with it too. Apparently, my clients have been dealing with this for 7 months.
Well, he used to be a member of the PD, so guess what? He was entitled to also question it, but didn't until it actually became pertinent afterwards. So I have zero sympathy for him, because everyone keeps calling me his damn father, which I'm not.
Wait, whose father?
Suarez.
I still can't believe that guy. I'm so fucking glad he ain't no cop. Fuck that guy.
But you're representing him.
Yeah, I'm doing my fucking job. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're a piece of shit, I'm still gonna help you. Unless you're like a pervert. Deny that one.
Oh. Yeah, well, I hope so. Well, I mean, technically, they have rights as well.
See,
so.
even shitty people are sometimes a vehicle for change.
Yeah, ain't wrong there.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. You know, I wish everything could be just easy, but it's not.
I don't think this is. I don't think this is hard. To be frank.
It's not.
I think it's just hard to I think the only thing hard is it being hard to comprehend how the fuck 7 months have gone by and no one's pointed this out a single time.
So it's not hard. That isn't hard.
with a pointing out part, but it's still
there's
hard
no
to be like, how the fuck? Like, how the fuck? Like, is no one like, hey, according to the, like, I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to, I don't want to rant and rave too long on this, but I'm hopeful, which is the important part. So,
over for what, my friend? Because if you're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, please let me know where to go to. Give me a damn direction, northeast, southwest, or what?
Brother, I got. Listen, I got fucking like maps in my mind on a bunch of things I'm gonna be tackling.
Yeah, Lord, this is gonna be dumps on me. Is that what's gonna happen?
No, trust me. I'm asking about 80% of what I'm working on. Just in case you have to oversee it.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, there's legal avenues to take. There's plenty to work with, is what I'm trying to say. I haven't hit a spot yet. I haven't hit a point yet where I'm like, it's actually impossible to make something needed to change. Now that's foregoing all the stuff that Souza has been bringing up. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't had the mental capacity to figure out what this, jurisdiction lines and like all this other shit he's been talking about. He's got a point, but
he does.
I think a lot of that there's a similarity with what he's working with and what I'm working with, which is no one has, whether you're PD, whether you're the government, whether you're lawyers, none of these bodies are actually, I think, thinking about what the laws are in front of them, what the problems are, challenging it, and fighting for change.
There's something not wrong there. I mean, I'm at fault for that. You've been a lawyer for how long? You're also at fault there.
I'm not at fault.
Yeah, right. We all are.
Oh,
every one of us.
What do you mean? I haven't. I just got my fucking. Craig won't come one day and just remove my fucking thing. Why? Because there's no fucking people in the cells to represent. Even though I've been around for God knows how long, I've been begging for shit. You know what? How I eventually started getting clients?
Yeah, tell me what ambulance chasing.
It's complicated. Okay, I got a lawsuit against the lieutenant of EMS and the police department coming up. But yeah, kind of like people started complaining about shit, and I said, "All right, what's the complaint?" And then I'll be like, "Okay, you got a case over here." And they're like, "Wait a minute, this guy isn't like talking in like A equals B equals C or whatever the fuck." You know what I mean? So, regardless, so who do I talk to from the police department? Should I talk to who are you having these discussions with right now?
No, I don't even know who the hell the right person is because I tried to bring this up to a few different individuals.
All right, I'm gonna
here's
call
the
Barrick.
thing.
I'm gonna call Barrick. I'm gonna say, listen, brother, I like you. Let's start. How about you guys start giving us this shit? Otherwise, you're in a world of hurt. Legally speaking, of course. And
here's how it should be. Who the person you should be speaking with, technicality-wise, would be Cornwood. Would. Because he is a PD liaison. And he has the potential to do these things.
Okay.
So he would be the 1A individual here. Not like
Cornwood.
the 2B.
Okay. I don't know if
because
I
he
ran into
actually...
him.
You have it?
I don't know. I have this thing where, like, if I don't really remember, I can't remember a particular case. I don't know if I really know him too well. You know, I live a lot of lives.
Yes. Yeah, fair enough.
I know it's some fat guy that stuffs his face.
Here's his number. You want his damn number?
Let me see if I got it. One sec. Oh yeah, I don't have him. I got a guy named Cornwall, 8884.
That's him. 8884.
So I probably don't know him too well if I got him down as Cornwall.
Yeah, well, that's the person you might need to speak with.
All right, easy.
All righty.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Judge Bailey. I appreciate this. I'm going to probably pick your brain exclusively, if you don't mind. And my reasoning for this is it makes my life easier so that I don't conflict the shit out of everybody. You know what I mean?
Well, I am an N of 1. Yes, I understand that. I'm an N of 1, right? And I also don't have N, like an N. I have the letter N. You don't do science, do you? N of 1, like a sample size?
You're an N of 1?
Yes, it's a technicality and a sample size, my friend. Like an N of 20 is a sample size, 20 is a sample size, N equals 1, N equals 20. Oh Lord, did I lose you on that one?
Yeah, you're like an N of 1. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Chat, I know. Oh, I
I'm
see
one
what it means.
person. How about that? I'll keep it very simple
Yeah, no,
for
of
you.
course. That's what I'm saying. You're like one guy, so, not all
Yes.
of them get conflicted.
Well, correct. But there are others, and I don't control the end all be all here.
Oh,
I'm just
no, listen.
one cog in one machine.
My only intent here is a soundboard, right? Like I said, you keep me level because I'm a fucking shark and you're like a paladin or something.
Oh.
Like I'm there to fucking eat everything that moves and fucks with my little sharks, right? And you're like the fucking, you're like the wall that says, hey, hold up, shark. Don't eat them. There might be another opportunity here.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Is that the word for, I think they call it thinking aggro, there's?
Viagra?
Oh, that's between me and my other wives, but no, we're not speaking about that one.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
right.
I'm a phone call where if you need it, but at the
right.
same time.
How'd the bench review go, by the way?
Well, it has no PC there.
Oh, easy. So it's dropped.
Is what?
So you dropped it. There's no PC?
No, there is PC.
Oh, there is PC. Well, shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start cooking. I appreciate it.
All righty.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Yep.
Oh, hey, I got
care.
one more for you, actually. It's a warrant for Wendell Santana.
Well, I'm actually slightly conflicted on this one because one of the officers called me on this one.
Oh, which one? Because I'm going to sue the shit out of him.
That'll be Riker.
Riker? All right.
Yes.
Right.
I will not review that because I have looked at that. All righty.
You looked at it for guidance or you looked at it for signing off?
He asked me for a certain thing and he asked me to do something. I said I would not do it until this was actually properly formatted. Until then, I'm not doing shit with it.
Okay.
I said go back to it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
All right. You take care.
All righty.
Bye.
Take care.